How many times have you thought to yourself, like, I'm successful, but I'm just not as happy as I thought I would be? Perhaps, maybe even at this level of success. Oh boy, this is something that, hey there, Michelle. It is all too common. It's all too common. We work really hard and we are hoping to get to that place in our life. And we don't get there. And we wonder what the heck? What the absolute heck? And so today, hey there, Keisha. Today, I'm diving into that topic and I am diving in head first, really looking at a clearer picture of understanding success and happiness, the connection, or perhaps for many of us, the disconnection. Y'all, I broke my mic. Can you hear me okay? If you can hear me, whether you are listening live or in the replay, please press yes. Yes in the comments. Please comment yes, because I need to know I'm like operating with one hand behind my back. So if you can hear me, okay, good. I was like, oh gosh, they're not saying yes. Great, great, great. Okay, wonderful. Um, so I really just want to chat with you all again, whether you're watching live or you're watching in the replay. I want to have an intimate conversation with you. This is a conversation around me and my journey and my healing. It's also about you and being able to support you as you are going through your ups and downs in life. And I want to know if this sounds familiar. This sounds familiar, definitely type me in the comments. You generally are successful, or people would certainly look at you and think that you are successful. You are someone that I like to say your curb appeal is popping, right? Your curb appeal is what it needs to be. You have worked really hard. You have done the things that you needed to do to get where you need to go. Um, and from the outward appearance, people are like, yes, you have achieved success. If that is you, definitely type me in the comments. And the good news is, this means that you're highly effective. This means that you know how to achieve success. Um, it means you know how to stay the course. It means that um, perhaps in some ways you've even mastered your life, like in many different forms or fashion. Yeah, yeah, I got you. I got you, Dr. Lakeisha. Um, you're a badass. This is what this means. And depending on whether or not you know your archetype, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Um, we're going to dig into that because I want to know if you all are clear on knowing that those pieces of yourself. So, yeah, it also might mean that you are a perfectionist, which has worked for you and against you, and that you are a force to be reckoned with in many different spaces of your life. Those are the good news, right? But there's bad news. Why is it that there's always good news and bad news? The bad news is when you are successful, success does not equal happiness. It just simply does not equal happiness. And for those of us that are overachievers, if you are an overachiever, say yes. I feel like typing in the comment myself, but my keyboard is crazy. Yes, for those of us that are overachievers, we have bought into the lie. We've drunk the Kool-Aid that success is going to make us happy, and when it doesn't, it's quite devastating. We think that it's going to make us feel good enough. We believe that it is going to fill the holes in our heart and in our soul, and so we stuff success in there. We stuff success from our business. We stuff success from our jobs, from our education. We stuff all kind of success in there, and it just doesn't give us the fulfillment that we actually want. And that is super frustrating, y'all. That is super, super frustrating. And it certainly also shows up in many different areas of our life. If you watched, Dr. Lakeisha and I did a training, I think it was back in December, where we talked about this very dynamic and how it shows up in your very cells, in your hormones, in your body, and what that looks like. Because this is a multifaceted situation. It really, really is. And when we look at it just through one lens, right? So the lens could be that, hey, if I do better, then I will feel better. That's just simply not true. It's just simply not true. So we end up numbing ourselves with more success because all we know how to do is to be successful. Oh my gosh. I know somebody out here is relating to that, because that is the crazy trauma trap of doing, is that we win, we're happy until we're not. And when we're not, all we know to do is do more. That's it. I really feel like running that one back. I'm going to run that one back for y'all. When we're in that doing space, we're doing, and the doing gets us to a level of success, right? We have more followers, we make more money, we get the promotion, whatever. As we do, we feel better about ourselves. And that feeling better feels good. And it's like, yes, I got it. I'm getting it. You know, people are proud of you. They're talking about you in the good way, or maybe even the bad way, because they're jealous. And all of that feels good until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, then we're like discombobulated, and we don't know what our next step is. But because we tend to fall back into our patterns when stuff is going on with us, all we know to do is do some more. We just know to accomplish some more. And we essentially, y'all, become addicted to success. Like, success is the anesthesia that we use to numb out the pains. And this is something that is so very common, but our society says, you know, girl, you're killing it. You're grinding. You know, yeah, you'll sleep when you sleep when you're dead. All of these kinds of messages that we get, and especially for us as women, we are pushed and pushed and pushed, and we're pushed out of our essence, out of our divine ideal, which then causes us to be in that space of doing more. And we're really playing a masculine game. That is going to be for another live. I promise you, I'm going to come with that one, because this idea of trying to win in a man's world, it does not work. So we end up blaming ourselves, and we're just very frustrated. And it's not working for us. It's not working for our family and our relationships and our body. So how does one change to become successful? The opposite problem. Yes. Well, yeah, Michelle, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit as well, though, because as we look at what our success or our healing archetype is, we can really get clear on what that looks like, and then we can have some better success in the future. All right, so if we want to have a desired result of feeling effortlessly enough, right? And in this space, that is essentially where we are, right? We want to be where we want to feel effortlessly enough, where we don't feel like we have to do in order to feel like we are good enough. And I'm talking about effortlessly enough, and also feeling that we are free, feeling that we are confident. We absolutely are luxuriating in peace and in clarity. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. That's where we want to get to in this space. But what could it look like instead of doing more and being the Energizer Bunny? And the world absolutely says yes to the Energizer Bunny. That's awesome. That's amazing. But getting unplugged and disconnecting from that, and getting into a space where we're grounded, where we feel centered, where we feel confident, all of this. This is absolutely possible, and I know it's possible because it's the journey that I too am on. Hello, my name is Heidi Day, and I too am an overachiever, have been. I am working through that. And many of you all know that I am walking through the journey right now of what I call from wife to widow. My husband passed 2 months ago and has been sick for the last 3 or 4 years. And so it has been really interesting watching myself in this journey, and watching myself through the lens of someone that is a healer, and asking myself the questions, and certainly going to therapy and being supported by many different wonderful people. Who am I being in the moment? Not what am I doing, but who am I being? Am I showing up for my higher self? Am I doing my heart work, right? Of perhaps just being still, of taking more naps, of saying no, of all of those things, right? These things are hugely important, especially in the aftermath of trauma. So, Michelle, one of the pieces that I would ask to you is, who are you being? Who are you being, right? Because as we are wanting to really make these significant changes, and perhaps it's like, okay, I want to become even more successful, because you have success in some areas of your life, I'm sure that you do, but you want to become even more successful. Is your trauma, are the things that are unhealed causing you to fall back, to numb out, to not go forward? And if that's the case, then the question that I ask consistently, right, is, who are you being? And do you feel that pressure to perform, to be in that perfectionism space, to keep on doing, even when you're hurt, even when your heart is breaking, even when you're tired, even when? If that is the case, we got to unplug from that. We have to unplug for that. So, my question for you all is, who wants more freedom in their lives, in their space, in every aspect of your life? I know that is really where I am, because what I have learned growing, that wasn't a good Freudian slip. I was supposed to be saying going through, but I said growing through. And that's truly what it's been, is growing through this journey. What I have learned is that it is absolutely possible to, yeah, yes, raise your hand, raise your hand. It's absolutely possible to have a disruption, or the very disruption to be a catalyst for who you get to be next. Let me run that back. It is absolutely possible, plausible even, to have the disruption, the trauma, the situation, the hurt to be a catalyst for who you get to be next. All right? Now you're like, okay, Heidi, how do we do that? Because that sounds crazy. It sounds like it's too good to be true. And I'm telling you, as I've been walking through this, I know that it's true. And as I've been walking through the things that I've been doing to really to check myself and to make sure that I am being authentic with myself, is getting really, really still, which is kind of the opposite of this perfectionism. It's the opposite of this doing. It's the opposite of what we are trained to do. So I've been getting really, really still throughout this journey. I have been allowing myself to be supported, and I have had so many people from all different walks of my life who have really been supporting me, and who have seen me, like really seen me as I've been going through. And y'all know I got 4 kids. I got 4 kids in this journey with me. And it has been incredible of being able to grow through this situation, and growing through it with them, and leaning into the places and the people and the circumstances that are supporting me. And that is how, people are like, oh, you've been really graceful in this. And I'm not even for sure what that means. I'm still uncovering that. But what I know for sure is that as we are in the situation, it's not happening to us, it's happening for us. Whatever it is that you're going through, it is not something that is happening to you, it's happening for you. And that has really been my context and my lens, even as I was sitting in hospice. I'm here in Costa Rica. I have so many amazing friends and family and people, neighbors, vecinos, what we call them here, that have just stepped up and have absolutely held me. But here is what I know about being held. You have to allow it. You have to allow it. And for many of us that are overachievers, that are perfectionists, we don't allow ourselves to be held. We don't. We are too busy being self-sufficient. We're too busy looking powerful. We're too busy looking strong, that we don't allow ourselves to be held. And then when we burnt out, tired, have adrenal fatigue and all of the other shit, then we're like, why isn't anybody seeing me? No, sis. It's not that no one is seeing you. The truth of the matter, perhaps, is that you are not allowing. So what does it look like for you to allow? All right. So what I want to share in this training is, I want to give you all 3 practical steps. I love to be able to give practicality to you, things that you can do, begin looking at and performing, practicing, doing right now. Yeah, yes, we don't allow ourselves to be held, girl. We do not. We do not. We do not. So I want to give you 3 steps to really being able to secure the bag for success and happiness, and it can happen for you. And whatever side of success and happiness you are on, this can happen for you. But it takes work. It takes work. It doesn't. It's not going to be something that just happens on autopilot. It takes work, and I don't mean it takes doing, because there is a difference. But it takes work. So I'm going to give you 3 steps that I want to share with you. Number one, you need to know your healing archetype. You need to know yourself. In this space here in Overachievers Anonymous, what that looks like, the first step of that is taking the quiz. I'm going to tell you, the quiz is mind blowing. The quiz is so helpful for you to understand your MO. If you have not taken the quiz, drop quiz in the comments. I'll be sure to get it to you because I want you to have that. When you have the quiz, what it gives you is self-awareness, and self-awareness is essential for your freedom. Self-awareness is essential for your freedom. If you don't know who you are, you're going to stay stuck doing what you've done and being who you've been. Man, I'm telling y'all, that's the good right there. So this quiz is really designed to help you see if your success is balanced. It's designed to help you understand what your healing archetype is. It really is going to give you powerful insights. Yes, Michelle, I will get it to you. Anybody else, drop it in there and we will get it. Number 2, what you really want to make sure that you're doing is you're unpacking your beliefs. This is so critical. We got to do a deep dive, not into what's wrong with me, but we must deep dive into what has happened to me. Why? Because our experiences create the beliefs, and our beliefs create our reality. I will run that back for you. Our experiences, our life experiences, our lived experiences create our beliefs, along with all of the things that make up our lived experiences, right? Our people that are influential, where we are raised, by whom, so on and so forth. Our lived experiences create the beliefs that we have. The beliefs are those paradigms, it's our constructs, and our constructs create our reality. It creates the results. And so oftentimes we're like, okay, I want a different result, so I'm going to do something different. No, sis. You cannot start with the doing. It never is about starting with the doing. It just simply cannot be. It's like saying I'm going to build a house and you have no blueprint. You have no architect. You have no plans. What? What are you building? What does that look like? And that's how many of us have approached our life. So unpacking your beliefs will allow you to really get clear on not what's wrong with you, but what's happened to you. Super, super important. That's number 2. The last thing, also hugely important, is creating self-healing practices. Now listen, I know many of you are like, oh, I've been to therapy, I've read all the self-help books, I've been to all the retreats, I've done all the things, and I can't seem to shake this. I can't seem to shake it. And I'm going to tell you, whatever the it is showing up in your finances, it's showing up in your relationships or the lack thereof. It's showing up in your body because the body keeps score. It's showing up everywhere. And so the ability to have self-healing practices that you are creating then puts you in the driver's seat. So you don't necessarily have to spend the rest of your life where you are feeling less than, but you create life-affirming practices, self-healing practices that you have, that you can pull up and that you can implement and can be a part of your who-ness. Because when you do that, that's how we step into our divine ideal. That is how we make a huge trajectory change. Because number 1, we have stopped and we've gotten clear about our self-awareness. Number 2, we know our beliefs and where they've come from. And then number 3, we know the practices that we need to have in order to make systemic change. Systemic change. And self-care, y'all, is not selfish, it's discipline. Self-care is not selfish, it is discipline. And it is the most important discipline that you can have. It is the most important one. And unless and until you have it, you are going to be running on E. And that means you're going to be sputting along in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in your body, in every space, because you're not full. And we need to be fooling, we need to be pouring and operating and giving and serving and loving and working from a full cup. It is hugely important. It is a game changer. Those three things. And when we do that, yes, I will. I got you, Terry. We're gonna leave it right here. And I definitely want you to watch it, and I want you to really see where you see yourself in this. So my last question is, out of those three, right? So we had number one, the number one piece of this is taking the quiz so that you can have that very important self-awareness. That is essential. Knowing where you are in this, knowing what your healing MO is. Nobody talks about this stuff. Nobody teaches us how do we heal best based on who we are, based on our life experiences, based on our personality and all of those things. Knowing what that looks like, hugely. It's just, I cannot speak on it enough. And when you know that, that's also going to help you play better in here, because I'm really in this community going to start teaching from those three different archetypes. So my badass Bettys, my kitchen sink Kellys, and my zoned out Zoes. I'm going to start really teaching and talking to you from those points. And so knowing that is going to be the first step. Number two, you got to unpack those beliefs. And I want to know, out of these three, where do you fall, as in like, okay, Heidi, I think this is where I'm falling short. I want to know that 1, 2, or 3. Taking your quiz, knowing your healing type. Number two is being clear on what your beliefs are, right? So we do a life map process. We do all of these things, trauma to transformation life map, so that you can understand from whence you come and stop blaming yourself. And when you stop blaming yourself, you are also then able to have compassion for others. And let me tell you, your mama needs some compassion. Your spouse needs some compassion. Your sister needs some compassion. And when you're able to have it for yourself, because you have put your life into context and you've contextualized your story, things begin to look differently. And then number three, you're creating these life affirming and self-healing practices. Where are you? Where are you in 1, 2, and 3? What is it that is the place where you need to start? Please put that in there in the comments for me. All right, y'all. I am so happy that you are with me here in this journey. I am so grateful for your support as I am on my own healing journey. This is a very unique one, I will tell you. It's a very unique one, but I don't feel alone. I feel supported, and I'm absolutely strapping on my own tool belt. I really am. Like, I'm deep in my stuff. The same things that I'm teaching and sharing with you all, I'm deep in it myself, because I understand that this is the way to grow through that. This time I said it intentionally. So thank you so much for being here. I am Heidi Day. I am your soul healer, and I am specifically sent to support those badass women that have been in that space of paving their path to success, trying to outperform their pain. I look forward to seeing you all back here next week. Sprinkle this onto your timeline, because somebody else needs to be in this group. And in fact, we are almost at 500. The person that is my 500th person that joins the group, I'm giving them a special gift. So if you have a friend, a sister, or somebody that needs to be in this space, tell them now, because I'm about to do a very special giveaway to my 500th person. All right, guys, we will talk later. Michelle, I got you. Thank you so much for being here live. Thank you for those of you watching the replay, and we'll see you next week.